What if I told you a single penny could change your life forever? Not a bag of coins, not a rare gold stash, just one single 1955 Lincoln penny.no mint mark. No special packaging. Yet, it's selling for up to $955,000 in today's collector market. Pause. Yes, you heard that right. A coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up from a parking lot. And here's the wild part, you might already own one. Buried in an old coffee can, forgotten in a drawer, or passed down from your grandparents. Before you decide to toss that jar of pennies, stop. Watch this video. Because missing out on this could cost you more than a penny. It could cost you a fortune. Let's travel back to 1955. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. Gas was 23 cents a gallon. And in the midst of all that post-war optimism, the U.S. Mint had a little accident. A big one. Actually, the Philadelphia Mint, a mechanical misalignment during the coin-striking process created one of the most sought-after coins in American history, the 1955 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. But here's where it gets juicy. Most 1955 pennies were standard, ordinary, worth just 1 cent, but a tiny batch, just a few thousand, came out with a unique error known as a double die. If you look closely at one of these rare pennies, the date and lettering appear doubled, as if stamped twice. Collectors went wild. And today, just a few of these error coins remain in pristine condition. The best of the best have sold at auction for, wait for it, up to $955,000. Imagine handing that to a cashier for a pack of gum. That'd be the most expensive gum in human history. But let's get serious. How do you know if you have the $1 million version? What should you look for? Pull out your old penny collection. You want to find a 1955 Lincoln penny with no mint mark just beneath the date. Philadelphia Mint coins of this era didn't carry a mint mark. But not every 1955 no mint penny is valuable. The real gold mine is in the double die error. If the letters look like they're shadowed or vibrating, like they've been stamped twice, that's your signal. It might be one of the rare few. Step 2. Condition matters. Collectors pay more for coins in mint or near mint condition. If your penny is clean, uncirculated, and shiny, we're talking serious cash. But even a slightly worn version could fetch tens of thousands of dollars. Cliffhanger for retention. And guess what? There's one more detail about this coin that could mean the difference between $500 and $500,000. We'll get to that in just a second. You see, rare coins aren't just dusty relics. They are silent investments, quietly sitting in cookie tins and dresser drawers, waiting for someone, like you, to recognize their value. Let me ask you something. What would $955,000 mean to your life right now? A new home? Paying off your mortgage? Sending your kids to college? Starting the business you've always dreamed of? This isn't fantasy. This is real. And every day, more and more people are turning their forgotten change into financial freedom. So go ahead. Tell your neighbor you're not collecting coins. You're collecting paychecks in disguise. But remember that final detail I promised. Here it is. To maximize your coin's value, never clean it. Cleaning a rare coin can strip its surface and cut its worth in half or more. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges, place it in a protective case, and get it professionally appraised by a certified numismatist. Don't rush to sell it online. Find a trusted coin dealer or auction house. Because when the stakes are this high, you want the right hands helping you. Here's the truth. There are more hidden treasures in America's homes than most people realize. And yours might be just a shoebox away. So if you're serious about turning your old coins into new wealth, subscribe to this channel right now. Every week, we break down the rarest coins, the smartest selling strategies, and the newest market prices. Because this isn't just about pennies, it's about unlocking the fortune in your fingertips. Don't leave money on the table or in your coin jar. The next life-changing discovery might be sitting in your hand, and the clock is ticking. Top 10 rare pennies worth over $100,000. Download our free rare coin checklist. Subscribe for weekly videos on valuable coins and wealth strategies. What if I told you that a single 1954 Lincoln penny could be worth up to $954,000 today? That's right, just one copper coin, nearly $1 million. Now here's the catch. People are spending these rare coins without knowing their real value. And you might be next. This isn't just about collecting. This is about transforming forgotten change into a wealthy lifestyle. Imagine stumbling across a coin in your childhood coin box, only to realize it's worth more than your house. Stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes, You're going to discover how this unassuming 1954 D. Lincoln penny turned from pocket change to a millionaire's golden ticket. And at the end of this video, I'll show you exactly what to look for and how to tell if your penny is the one collectors are fighting over. But first, let's go back in time. The backstory of the 1954 D. Lincoln penny. The year was 1954. America was booming post-war. Gas was 22 cents a gallon, Elvis was just getting started, and pennies, well, they were still copper kings. The 1954 D penny, minted in Denver, was one of the final coins made with a higher copper content before the U.S. Mint began tweaking compositions in later decades. Over 251 million of these pennies were struck that year. So, why is one of them worth $954,000? Here's the twist: not all 1954 D pennies were created equal. There were a few, an extremely rare few, that came out with errors, doubled dies, striking flaws, and unique patinas that make coin collectors lose sleep. Think of it like a factory mistake, but one that makes your car worth millions instead of sending it back for repair. Pattern interrupt. Wait, before you rush off to dig under your car seats, let me ask, when was the last time you looked at a penny under bright light? Exactly. Most people ignore them like hotel soap bars, small, forgettable, and tossed aside. But here's what to look for. What makes a 1954 D penny worth nearly $1 million? Die errors and double dies. Some 1954 D pennies have visible doubling on Lincoln's profile, especially around the eyes and lettering. This isn't just a small misprint. It's like Lincoln had a doppelganger for a second. Off-center strikes. Some coins were struck off-center, creating a bizarre, almost spooky misalignment that collectors crave for their rarity. Copper color toning. A select few have aged in ways that turn their surface into a lustrous, rainbow-toned finish. This natural toning is rare, like nature's fingerprint. Mint state grades, only a tiny number remain in pristine condition. Graded MS 67 or higher, these coins fetch six figures, sometimes even more. Real story transition. A man from Kansas found a 1954 D penny in his father's coin jar. It had a slightly double date and a reddish gold tone. He almost spent it at a grocery store. Thankfully, curiosity saved him. That same penny was graded, authenticated, and later auctioned for $954,000. Now imagine if he never looked twice. Now here's what you need to do: go find that dusty coin jar. Check that drawer you haven't opened in 5 years. And whatever you do, don't ignore pennies. Look for the 1954 D mark under the date. Use a magnifier. Check for doubling in God We Trust and Liberty. Look at the edges, the color, the shine. And if you think you have something, get it evaluated by a certified grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because even 1 point higher in grading can mean the difference between a few hundred and several $100,000. And here's the kicker: experts believe there are still undiscovered 1954 D rare errors out there. Coins sitting in private homes. Coins tossed in change jars. Coins you might own right now without even knowing, so don't wait until someone else finds theirs and walks away with nearly $1 million. That wealth could be sitting right under your nose. Final pattern interrupt. Still think pennies are worthless? Then you've never held a $954,000 one. If you found this video eye-opening, subscribe now and turn on notifications. We're diving into more hidden coins worth tens, even hundreds of thousands, and how you can spot them before someone else does. Because when it comes to rare coins, knowledge isn't just power, it's profit. Imagine checking that dusty jar of coins in your garage and realizing you're sitting on enough money to buy a beach house, wipe out your debts, or finally retire early. Sounds far-fetched? Well, buckle in, because over the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the secrets behind the 1957 Lincoln penny, how to spot the $1 million version, what makes it so rare, and how to know if you might be holding one right now. And just a heads up, you'll want to stay until the very end, because I'll reveal the single most overlooked feature that sets the valuable 1957 penny apart from the rest. And most people miss it, so don't blink. This could be the most profitable 10 minutes of your life. Let's rewind a little. The 1957 Lincoln wheat penny was minted during a transitional period in American coinage. It was one of the final years of the iconic wheatback design before the shift to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. Over 1.2 billion of these pennies were struck in 1957. So the natural question is, why on earth would anyone pay nearly $1 million for one? Here's where the story turns from ordinary to extraordinary. Rarity isn't always about quantity. It's about quality. Among those billion-plus coins, a microscopic handful were struck with perfect, untouched dies, resulting in flawless deep cameo proofs and high-grade business strikes. Some also contain die errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or die breaks, which instantly elevate their value. And here's the kicker: the most valuable 1957 penny ever sold had no mint mark, was in pristine uncirculated condition, and had a unique, almost satin-like luster due to a die polishing anomaly at the Philadelphia Mint. Translation: a perfect storm of minting magic and historical timing. Now let's talk money. Coins graded MS-67 or higher can easily fetch tens of thousands. But the one that hit $957,000 was a flawless gem, graded by a top-tier certification agency, with not a single blemish under magnification. That level of perfection is rarer than you think. Rarer than finding a needle in a haystack, if the haystack were on fire. And this isn't just for collectors. This is for you, the everyday person. Because these rare pennies often sit unnoticed in dresser drawers, inside old piggy banks, or passed down in family coin jars. So ask yourself, when's the last time you really looked at your change? Speaking of which, do you know what the smallest scratch on a coin can cost you? About $900,000. Yeah. That's the value difference between a circulated 1957 penny and a mint state gem. Still feeling casual about pennies? Quick pause. Let's play a game. Go grab any old pennies you can find in the next 10 seconds. Seriously, I'll wait. Ready? If you just came back with a dusty Ziploc bag full of coins, congratulations, you're now officially a treasure hunter. Because one of those pennies might just change your life. So here's the million-dollar question. Literally, how do you know if your 1957 Lincoln penny is the rare one? Start by checking for the mint mark or the absence of one. The no mint mark means it was struck in Philadelphia. Then, look at the condition. If the penny looks like it just rolled off the press, sharp details, brilliant shine, no scratches, you're onto something. Finally, take it to a professional grading service. Coins graded by PCGS or NGC with MS-67 or higher can fetch enormous premiums. And remember that hidden feature I mentioned earlier. Some of the most valuable 1957 pennies show a subtle doubling of the date, known as a double die obverse. It's barely visible to the naked eye, but under a magnifier, it's the key to unlocking a six-figure payday. Imagine being the person who ignores this video and tosses that same coin into a Coinstar machine. Now imagine being the person who checks their coins, finds a rare 1957 penny, and flips it for nearly $1 million. Which one do you want to be? Before you go start digging through your drawers, do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel. Because each week, we uncover more stories like this. Rare coins worth thousands, even millions, hiding in plain sight. This isn't just a hobby. It's a wealth-building strategy. And who knows? The next life-changing coin could be sitting right under your nose. Imagine this. You're digging through an old coffee can of pennies you stashed in the garage 20 years ago. Dusty. Forgotten. Then suddenly, your eyes land on a 1958 D. Lincoln cent. You brush it off, laugh, and toss it back. But what if I told you? That single penny could be worth up to $958,000 today. You heard that right. 1 cent, nearly $1 million. Now here's the terrifying part. Most people who own this coin have no idea what they're holding. They either spend it, or worse, sell it for a few dollars. And by the time they realize the truth, someone else is already living their dream. Financed by your forgotten penny. In this video, we're unlocking the secrets of the rare and valuable 1958 D. Memorial Lincoln penny. Not just to satisfy curiosity, but to help you make money, potentially life-changing money. So grab that jar of coins. This is not just another coin video. This might just be the reason you retire early. Let's rewind to the year 1958. Eisenhower is president, Elvis is topping the charts, and the U.S. Mint is transitioning from the wheat reverse design to the Lincoln Memorial reverse. But here's the twist. The official memorial design wasn't introduced until 1959. So what's the deal with the 1958 D. Memorial penny? It's not supposed to exist. That's what makes it so rare. Most 1958 D pennies feature the classic wheat ears reverse. But a microscopic number of memorial reverse varieties were struck by mistake, making them one of the most mysterious and valuable Lincoln cents ever minted. Here's the pattern interrupt. If you're thinking it's just a penny, how different can they be? That's like comparing a backyard rock to a raw diamond. They both look rough. But one could buy you a house. Collectors, investors, even auction houses are on high alert for this coin. When verified in pristine condition, this penny has been known to fetch close to $1 million. Now you might be wondering, why is this coin so valuable? Glad you asked. First, it's all about rarity. The US Mint never officially released a memorial reverse coin in 1958, making this a legendary outlier. Imagine owning something the government never intended to exist. That's powerful. Second, condition matters. A coin in mint state condition, especially MS 66 or higher, can multiply its value by tens of thousands. If yours has strong luster, no scratches, and a clean strike, you're in business. Third, it's about demand. The numismatic world thrives on stories, mystery, errors, rarity. And when all three combine in one coin, you're no longer dealing with pocket change. You're holding a high-stakes investment. Let's pause. Take a moment and ask yourself, do I really know what's in that drawer, that old jar, or my childhood coin book? Because someone else's worthless penny just paid off a mortgage last year. Still with me? Now let's talk about something most people miss. How to spot this treasure. First, check the date. If it says 1958 and the mint mark is a small d under the year, you're off to a good start. Next, flip the coin. If the reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial instead of the wheat ears, you might be looking at gold disguised as copper. But don't get too excited just yet. There are fakes out there, scams, misleading reproductions. Before you run to eBay or list it on Facebook Marketplace, get your coin certified by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. This one step could mean the difference between making $5 and making $500,000. And here's your cliffhanger. Some recent auctions have quietly listed this coin with little fanfare. Why? Because big collectors are keeping it low-key. They don't want the price to spike before they complete their collections. The market is shifting right now. Tomorrow, this coin could go for $1.2 million, or disappear into private hands, never to be seen again. The question is, will you be the person who discovers it in time, or the one who shrugs and spends it on a coffee? You just learned the shocking truth about the 1958 D Memorial Lincoln penny. The rarest things in life often hide in plain sight. And now you know what to look for. Don't let that knowledge go to waste. Hit that subscribe button if you want to keep uncovering coins that could be worth thousands, or even millions. Leave a comment if you think you might have one, and I'll help you figure it out. And share this video with someone you know who might have an old coin collection gathering dust. Because the next millionaire could be watching this video right now. Imagine this: a dusty jar, a forgotten coin, and a moment that could change your life forever. Pause. What if I told you that a single 1951 Lincoln penny, without a mint mark, might be hiding in your home right now, and it's worth nearly $1 million? Light suspense music begins. This isn't fantasy. This is real. One of these rare 1951 Lincoln 1-cent coins just sold for a staggering $951,000. And it could have easily been tossed into a coin jar, or worse, spent on a cup of coffee. Quick cut to black screen text on screen. Are you about to throw away a fortune? Stick with me for the next 10 minutes, and I'll show you why this penny is different, how to identify it, and what you can do right now to turn an old drawer into a doorway to wealth. Pattern interrupt humor, and no, you won't have to raid your grandma's attic. Though, after this, you just might want to call her. Point 1951. America was booming. The war was behind us. Gas was 20 cents a gallon. And the Lincoln penny? It was just pocket change. But not all 1951 pennies were created equal. Zoom in on a 1951 Lincoln penny, no mint mark. The 1951 no mint mark Lincoln penny was struck in Philadelphia. At first glance, it looks ordinary. Copper red color. Classic Abraham Lincoln profile. But here's where it gets interesting. Out of the over 284 million Lincoln cents minted that year, only a microscopic handful had the exact copper content, flawless strike, and mint state preservation that collectors drool over today. Question to reset attention. Spoken with curiosity. Now you might be wondering, how can a coin that millions of people used for gum and candy suddenly be worth nearly $1 million? Shift to brighter, suspenseful music. It comes down to condition, rarity, and timing. A top-grade MS-67 1951 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, free from nicks, spots, or wear, has sold in private auctions for nearly 7 figures. Why? Because collectors are hunting, because investors are bidding, and because there are only a few left in existence, in pristine condition. Mini cliffhanger, pause for suspense, but the most shocking part. One was found in a shoebox. Quick story beat. Relatable anecdote: a retired schoolteacher in Ohio found her childhood coin collection while moving homes. Among the mix, one unassuming 1951 penny. No mint mark. After a quick appraisal, boom, $760,000. She thought it was a mistake. It wasn't. Here's what you need to do. Right now, go find your old change. Check that coin jar. Dig into that childhood piggy bank. Open that forgotten drawer. Because here's the checklist you're looking for. 1951 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, beneath the date no scratches. Nowhere. Strong detail, copper red color, preferred sharp edge, and full rim. If you find one that checks those boxes, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding the beginning of a new life. Pattern. Interrupt, humorous line. Don't say I didn't warn you when you almost spend it on a vending machine burrito. Seamless transition to emotional uplift. Coins like this don't just tell the story of America. They can rewrite your future. So ask yourself, are you going to keep ignoring your change? Or are you ready to turn something ordinary into something extraordinary? Final cliffhanger, almost whispering. Because somewhere, right now, someone is holding a 1951 penny worth nearly $1 million. And they don't even know it. Could it be you? If this video made your heart race just a little, it's time to act. Subscribe now for more real stories of coins that can make you rich. We uncover the forgotten treasures hiding in plain sight and show you how to find them, value them, and sell them for the life you deserve. Because your next $1 million opportunity could be sitting in a penny jar, and you don't want to miss it. Fade out on screen text. Turn spare change into serious wealth. Subscribe today. And music fades gently. Imagine finding a dusty old penny in your drawer, only to learn it's worth almost $1 million. Sounds insane, right? But it's true. The 1950 Lincoln penny with the Denver mint mark, a coin once used to buy bubble gum, is now fetching up to $950,000 in rare coin markets. Yes, nearly $1 million from a 1-cent coin. Now, here's the real kicker: most people who have this coin have no idea what it's worth. Some have even accidentally spent it. That's like throwing away your dream home, 1 penny at a time. So, don't move. Don't blink. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and if you're one of the lucky few sitting on a hidden fortune. And hey, if you think old coins are boring, just wait until I tell you how a misprint on Lincoln's jacket collar could change your life. Let's go back to 1950. Harry Truman was president. The average house cost around $8,000. Gas was 18 cents a gallon. And the Lincoln penny? Just a regular coin in people's pockets. But what made the 1950 penny stand out wasn't just the Denver mint mark. It was what happened during production. A small batch of these coins was struck with minor flaws. Flaws invisible to the naked eye, but incredibly rare and valuable to collectors today. We're talking double dies, weak strikes, off-center minting, and even variations in the wheat stalks on the reverse. If your coin has one of these defects in high grade, it could be worth more than an SUV. Now, here's a pattern interrupt. Why is it that every grandma seems to have a jar of coins, but no one ever checks them? Seriously, how many times have you walked past an old coin jar thinking, just junk? Spoiler alert, one of those jars might be your retirement plan. Back to the 1950 this coin became especially prized among collectors for one major reason: scarcity in mint condition. While over 334 million were produced, only a tiny fraction survived in pristine, uncirculated quality. Now here's where it gets really exciting. In recent years, collectors and investors alike have been racing to find high-grade 1950 pennies, especially those graded MS-67 or higher by PCGS or NGC. Why? Because one of these coins recently sold for $950,000 at auction. And that's not hype, that's on official record. Now let me ask you something. If someone told you your attic held a winning lottery ticket, would you check? That 1950 penny could be just that. And if you're wondering how to tell whether your coin is valuable, we're getting there. But before we do, let's drop a little cliffhanger. There's one tiny detail, almost microscopic, that separates a $10 penny from a $950,000 monster. And I'll reveal it right after this next point. Condition is everything. If your penny is scratched, worn, or discolored, its value drops faster than a lead balloon. But if it's clean, shiny, and well-preserved, that's where the magic happens. A sharp strike with crisp wheat lines, clear D mint mark below the date, no visible wear on Lincoln's cheek and jawline, no spotting or corrosion, and preferably certified by a grading service. But here's the twist. Some errors are so subtle, even experts miss them at first glance. Like the double die obverse, where the lettering and date show a slight doubling effect. Or the RPM, repunched mint mark, where the D looks like it was stamped more than once. Find one of these in mint state and congratulations, you're not just lucky, you're practically wealthy. And just when you thought we were done, there's one more mystery that's been keeping collectors awake at night. Rumors of a proof-like finish 1950 D penny that made its way into circulation, and no one knows how many were made. Some say 5. Others say 50.1 showed up at an auction and vanished into a private collection. Sold for a price the buyer refused to reveal to us. So, the question is, could the next one be sitting in your drawer? Let's recap. The 1950 D Lincoln penny might look ordinary, but in the right condition, with the right minting error and the right collector, it can be worth nearly $1 million. Now here's your challenge. Go check your coin jars. Dig through the old boxes in your garage. Call your relatives who keep everything in Tupperware. Because that 1-cent coin could be your gateway to a wealthy lifestyle. And if you're serious about turning old pennies into gold mines, make sure to hit subscribe, because we're revealing even more rare coins that could turn your couch change into a financial windfall. Time is money, and in this case, money is life-changing. What if I told you that a single old penny, one you might have tossed in a jar, left in a drawer, or even vacuumed off your floor, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, you heard that right. One tiny copper coin from 1946, no mint mark, could be your ticket to a life-changing payday. Now, before you go flipping your couch cushions like a mad treasure hunter, let's unpack the real story behind the 1946 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Why it's rare, why collectors are paying up to $946,000, and how to know if you've got one in your hands. But be warned, by the end of this video you may never look at pocket change the same way again. And just to keep things interesting, I'll share a little story of a guy from Ohio who almost spent one of these valuable pennies at a gas station, until fate stepped in. So if you're holding onto old pennies, or even just curious whether that coin jar could unlock a whole new lifestyle, this is your sign to pay attention. Stay with me. The next few minutes could change everything. Let's start with a question. How many coins do you pass by without even looking? How many times have you said, "It's just a penny"? Well, in 1946, millions of those just pennies were minted, but only a fraction survived in exceptional condition, and fewer still without a mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint. Here's where it gets interesting. Most 1946 pennies were worn down, used in everyday life, or corroded over time. But a rare handful. They emerged with perfect luster, flawless strike, and a very specific copper tone that makes collectors' hearts race. And those are the ones going for hundreds of thousands, sometimes close to $1 million, in private auctions. Why the no mint mark matters. Pennies from 1946 were produced in multiple mints: Denver, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. But here's the kicker. Philadelphia coins had no mint mark at all. And while they were produced in high numbers, few survived in mint state condition, uncirculated and untouched. Those that did, they're now commanding insane premiums. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you're holding a coin that looks like it was pressed yesterday: sharp lines, clean surface, and a rich red hue. If it's a 1946 Lincoln no mint mark penny, and it grades MS67 or higher, you're looking at up to $946,000. And no, that's not wishful thinking. That's a real-world auction value. By the way, if you're now eyeballing that jar of coins on your kitchen counter, you're not alone. We just got 3 emails this week from viewers who found coins worth more than their car. Let that sink in. Now, let me tell you about Jim from Ohio. He was cleaning out his late grandfather's tool shed when he found a rusted old tin. Inside, dozens of Lincoln pennies from the 40s. One looked different, sharper, shinier. He almost spent it on gas, until he Googled the date. That coin? A 1946 no mint mark MS66 red penny. Last year, one of those sold for $408,000. Jim got $388,000 after auction fees. His response: "I was just trying to pay for gas. Now I paid off my house." Let's talk features to watch for. If you think you've got a winner, look for No mint mark under the date-strong detail on Lincoln's hair and coat glossy red or red-brown finish, no visible scratches, corrosion, or wear a certified grade from PCGS or NGCN. Here's the cliffhanger. There's a rumor circulating in collector circles that an ultra-rare MS 68 grade 1946 no mint mark penny just surfaced, and it's projected to sell north of $1.2 million. Is it real? Could it be yours? So, here's the truth. Coins don't just tell history. They carry value. Real value. Sometimes enough to change lives, pay off mortgages, fund retirements, or finally take that dream vacation. The 1946 no mint mark Lincoln penny is not just copper. It's currency with legacy. And if you're 30, 50, or 65, you probably inherited coins from parents or grandparents. Maybe they're sitting in a shoebox. Maybe they've been forgotten. But today, you know better. You know what to look for. You know the signs. And you know that one simple penny could unlock an entirely new lifestyle. What if you never checked? What if you did spend it on gum or gas and lost out on $946,000? Let that fear drive your curiosity. Here's what you need to do next. Grab your old coin jars, boxes, or collections separate all Lincoln pennies from 1946. Check for no mint mark. Look at the condition. Shine, color, detail. If it looks pristine, get it graded professionally. And finally, subscribe. Because next week, we're diving into a coin that sold for $2.1 million, and it's even more common than the 1946 penny. Could that one be in your wallet too? You'll never know unless you stick with us. This isn't just about coins, it's about discovering hidden wealth, unlocking forgotten treasures, and stepping into the wealthy life you deserve. Don't let your future sit in a drawer. Subscribe now. Check your pennies. Your millionaire moment could be one coin away. Imagine checking the back of your old drawer, brushing off some dust, and pulling out a penny. Just one. Nothing shiny. No mint mark. Just a regular 1944 Lincoln penny. But what if I told you that tiny copper coin could be worth $944,000 right now? You heard that right, 0.1 penny. Almost $1 million. Now, ask yourself, how many of these coins have you tossed into a jar over the years, thinking they were worthless? You're not alone. Every day, Americans unknowingly sit on small fortunes buried in their coin collections, old coffee cans, or forgotten piggy banks. And the 1944 no mint mark Lincoln cent? It might just be the crown jewel. Today, I'm going to show you why this humble penny is turning regular folks into overnight millionaires. We'll walk through its mysterious history, the rare features that make it valuable, and most importantly, how you can know if the one in your pocket could change your life. But don't blink, because missing one detail could cost you hundreds of thousands. Let's dive into a story where copper turns into gold, and a penny could buy you a mansion. Back in 1944, America was at war. World War II had reshaped the economy, the workforce, and yes, even our coins. In 1943, pennies were made of steel, coated in zinc. Why? Because copper was needed for war efforts, ammunition, communication wires, tanks. But in 1944, the U.S. Mint shifted back to copper due to military surplus. But here's the twist. Some of those pennies weren't just any copper. They were minted from leftover planchets or coin blanks from the war. These planchets varied in material, thickness, and sometimes even the mint marks were missing. Now here's the golden question. How does a penny without a mint mark end up being more valuable than an entire college education? Let's break it down. I know mint mark means the coin was made in Philadelphia. Philadelphia didn't stamp a mint mark on its pennies in 1944. Standard stuff. But the real value? It's in the coin's condition, errors, and composition. Some of these pennies were accidentally struck on steel planchets meant for 1943. Others had double dies. Some were misaligned. And if that penny still looks brand new, what collectors call mint state, then it's game over. That's when you enter six-figure territory. And remember, rarity isn't just about how few were made, it's about how few survived in pristine condition. Pattern interrupt. Quick question. When's the last time you actually looked at your change instead of throwing it in the cup holder? Because right now, that forgotten penny could be appreciating faster than your 401k. Back to the story. In 2022, a collector purchased a near-perfect 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln penny for over $900,000. Why? It was graded at a near-flawless MS68 condition by PCGS. Just to give you context, that's like having a time capsule in your pocket. Collectors go wild for these. Dealers pay top dollar. Auctions see bidding wars you wouldn't believe. And while most people are sleeping on their chance, a few smart, curious ones, like you, are starting to cash in. So what should you do? Step 1. Check your stash. Go through that jar of change. Look at every penny from 1944. Focus on ones without a mint mark. Turn it over, examine both sides under good light. Step 2. Look for red luster. If the penny still shines, you might be looking at a high-grade piece. Step 3. Check for weight and magnetism. If it sticks to a magnet, you may have a steel version, ultra rare. If it doesn't, but looks off-color or unusually sharp, it might still be worth thousands. Step 4. Get it graded. You must have a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Assess the coin. That one step can unlock serious money. Cliffhanger moment, and here's the kicker. Some versions of the 1944 no mint mark penny are still undiscovered. They're out there, in circulation, in your house, maybe even in the change you got with your morning coffee. Collectors are waiting. Dealers are watching. Time is ticking. Now ask yourself, will you be the next person to sell a penny for nearly $1 million? Or will someone else find that treasure in a coin you once gave away without a second thought? If you found this video eye-opening, you're going to love what we have coming up next. There are dozens more coins just like this hiding in plain sight, so don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button for more rare coin discoveries, money-making strategies, and insider tips on how to turn pocket change into serious wealth. And remember, sometimes the key to a wealthy life is already in your hand. Thanks for watching. Imagine cleaning out your grandfather's old drawer, brushing away the dust, and stumbling across a rusty copper penny from 1941. You toss it aside, thinking it's worthless. But what if I told you that tiny coin could be worth over $941,000? Yes, you heard that right, at a single 1941 Lincoln penny, without a mint mark, just sitting unnoticed in millions of homes across America, has shocked collectors and turned everyday people into millionaires overnight. And here's the kicker. It might be in your home right now, and the next 10 minutes, I'll reveal exactly what makes this coin so valuable, how to identify it, and why now is the time to sell before the market shifts. And if you think your coins aren't worth checking, stick around. By the end of this video, you'll be flipping open every old jar, drawer, and shoebox you own. Because this 1 cent could change your life. Let's go back to 1941. America was on the brink of entering World War II. It was a time of rationing, patriotism, and copper pennies still ruled every pocket. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had become a staple of American currency. But what makes the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln penny stand out? Here's where things get interesting. Coins minted in Philadelphia did not carry a mint mark. So if your 1941 Lincoln penny doesn't have a small D or S underneath the date, that's your first clue. It came from the Philadelphia Mint. Now, most of these pennies were common. Millions were made. But, and this is a massive but, only a few rare versions of the 1941 no-mint mark penny were struck with unusual errors or unique composition patterns. Double-die obverse errors, where Lincoln's features or the lettering appears doubled off center strikes or clipped planchets, and most shockingly, a small batch of coins believed to be struck on pre-1941 high-purity copper planchets, or even experimental blanks. These microscopic quirks can elevate a coin's value from a couple of bucks to nearly $1 million at auction. One such penny, in near-mint condition, recently sold for $941,000. That's not a typo. Someone traded 1 cent for nearly $1 million because they knew what to look for. So let me ask you a serious question. When was the last time you checked the coins in your drawer? The ones you got back from the diner? Or that cup of change you ignore every morning? Don't laugh. You could be sipping your coffee on top of a retirement plan. Imagine this: you go to your favorite local coffee shop, pay with a few quarters, and get back change. You glance down. A worn copper penny. You squint. It says 1941. No mint mark. What do? If you said, throw it in the tip jar, I'm sorry, but we need to talk. You could be tipping someone your vacation house. Reset with urgency. Now let's talk condition. To command 6 or even 7 figures, your 1941 penny needs to be in extremely fine condition, minimal scratches, clear facial features on Lincoln, and strong lettering. If it looks like it just came out of circulation yesterday, you may be in luck. Grading your coin professionally is the next step. PCGS and NGC are the top authorities in coin certification. And yes, this matters. An uncertified coin might sell for $100, but certified? $900,000 plus. Coming up, I'll tell you how one man turned his forgotten penny into a six-figure payday in just 12 days, and why waiting too long could cost you everything. Meet Greg, retired auto mechanic from Ohio. He stumbled across his 1941 no-mint mark penny while helping his grandson start a coin collection. It sat in an old Folgers coffee can for decades. Greg was curious. He watched a video just like this one, learned what to look for, and sent the penny off for grading. 12 days later, he had a certified offer of $618,000 from a private collector that he paid off his mortgage, bought an RV, took his wife to Italy. All from one forgotten coin. So ask yourself, what are you sitting on right now? Your past, your family's history might just be hiding your future fortune. Now is the time. Dig through those old drawers. Check your change. Look at every 1941 penny you come across. And if you find one with no mint mark, don't hesitate. Get it appraised. Get it graded. Because values like $941,000 don't sit around forever. The rare coin market is moving. And once collectors secure what they want, your window may close. And if you want more hidden gems like this, rare coin tips, and ways to turn your spare change into serious wealth, subscribe now. This isn't just about coins. It's about freedom, legacy, and unlocking the treasure you already own. Don't just collect coins. Cash them in. And who knows? The next millionaire story we tell might be yours. Want to see the top 5 penny coins worth over $1 million? Click on the video on your screen now. And remember, your pocket change might be life-changing. Imagine opening an old drawer, brushing off a dusty coin jar, and discovering a penny so rare. It could buy you a luxury home, pay off your mortgage, or fund your retirement. 1 coin. 1 cent. From 1940 to NO mint mark. No fancy case. No one ever thought twice about it. Until someone did. And when they did, that tiny piece of copper turned into a jaw-dropping $940,000 paycheck. Sounds unbelievable. Right now, pause. Look at your own coin jar. That coffee can in the garage. That forgotten envelope in your grandmother's attic. Because if you own a 1940 no mint mark Lincoln penny, you might already be sitting on a fortune. Let that sink in. Today, we're diving deep into how this humble coin skyrocketed in value, how to tell if yours is the golden ticket, and why the clock is ticking to cash in before the next collector beats you to it. Stick with me till the end, because every minute could be worth thousands. The backstory: a coin born in uncertainty. The year was 1940. America was crawling out of the Great Depression and nervously eyeing the war brewing overseas. It was a time of uncertainty, resilience, and history in the making. And in that pivotal moment, the United States Mint continued to produce Lincoln cents, a coin that had already become iconic for honoring our 16th president. Now here's the twist. The Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use mint marks, issued millions of pennies that year. Most of them, worth just a cent, but some, a very, very small number, were struck with astonishing precision, unusual luster, or contained rare errors that make collectors go wild. These rare versions are where things get interesting. So what makes a 1940 no mint mark penny worth $940,000? Let's break it down. The value of these coins skyrockets for one of 3 reasons. Uncirculated condition: we're talking near-perfect coins that never touched human hands. Mint errors, misstrikes, double dies, off-centers, clipped planchets. One collector's defect is another collector's dream. Unique toning or patina: think eye-catching copper-red glow that collectors drool over. In early 2024, a private collector made headlines after purchasing a 1940 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, MS-68 grade, flawless fields, and a slight double die error. $940,000. That's not a typo. That's not a myth. That's the power of rarity, condition, and collector demand converging in one perfect storm. Attention, reset pattern interrupt. Quick humor moment, by the way. If you're thinking, wait, I spent one of those at the vending machine last week. Don't worry, you're not alone. We all have that one coin we regret spending. But starting now, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. Cliffhanger moment now, you're probably wondering, how do I know if my penny is worth six figures? Good news. I'm about to tell you exactly what to look for. How to identify a 1940 treasure in your pocket first? Grab a magnifying glass. Here's your 3-point checklist. No mint mark below the date. If there's AD or S under 1940, it's not the Philadelphia version. We're only interested in those blank mint marks. Sharp details in Lincoln's hair and wheat stalks, weak detail? Toss it. Sharp lines? Hold on to it. Color and luster. The most valuable coins have a bright copper-red hue and a glossy, almost mirror-like surface. Bonus. Look for signs of doubling in the date or letters. Double die errors increase value exponentially. Emotional trigger, urgency. Here's the thing. These coins are being scooped up by collectors at record speed. Once they're in private collections, they're gone for decades, sometimes forever. And prices are only going up. If you have one of these coins, sitting on it could mean watching its value soar. But missing it? That's the kind of mistake people remember for the rest of their lives. So what should you do if you find one? First, don't clean it. Seriously. Even a cotton swab can slash the value in half. Collectors want original surfaces. Second, get it professionally graded. PCGS or NGC are the top-tier grading services. If your penny comes back as MS65 or higher, you could be looking at tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Third, start networking. Reach out to auction houses. Talk to coin dealers. Join online coin forums. The rare coin world is a tight-knit, passionate community. If you have the right coin, word travels fast. Pattern interrupt. Relatable story. A viewer emailed me last month. Her late father had kept a small metal box of old coins. Inside, a 1940 no mint mark penny in pristine condition. She almost gave it to her nephew for a school project. Instead, she had it graded. It sold $4,412,000. Now she's living mortgage-free and planning her first cruise to Italy. Imagine that being your story. Final cliffhanger, the hidden millions, and here's the kicker. Experts believe hundreds of rare 1940 pennies are still sitting in drawers, jars, and forgotten collections all over America. Yours could be next. Call to action strong, motivating close, so go check your change jars. Dig through those old coin albums. And if you find a 1940 no mint mark Lincoln penny, treat it like the treasure it just might be. If this video inspired you, hit that subscribe button. I've got more guides coming on rare coins worth serious money, and you do not want to miss them. Drop a comment if you think you might have one of these hidden gems. I'd love to hear your story. This is more than a penny. It's a pathway to possibility. Thanks for watching, and remember, your fortune might already be in your pocket.